Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living Podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Welcome back to Non-Negotiable Living. I'm Ashley. Today we're talking about something many people consider doing as they kick off their new year, and it's dry January. So many people see that they've drank a lot over the holidays because of all the festivities, the parties, all the activities, spending time with family, the socializing. So a lot of people feel like they need to go into the new year with a reset. So whether you're taking the month off from alcohol to reset your body, improve your health, see how you feel without it, I've got some tips and tricks that are going to help you succeed throughout the month. And remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress and discovering how going alcohol-free can maybe benefit your body, mind, and overall well-being. So let's dive into some practical strategies to make dry January a success. So first, we have to set the foundation and some clear intentions. So before you start, I want you to take a minute and reflect on why you're doing dry January. Is it to better your health? Is it to save money? Is it to reset your relationship with alcohol? But having a strong why gives you purpose and helps keep you motivated when the challenges feel tough. So I want you to think about your why and really dig deep on it. Did you have some interactions with people while you were drinking over the holidays that were subpar and you realized maybe if you weren't drinking, it wouldn't have gone that way? Do you feel like it's affecting your health? Are you feeling bloated and sluggish? Are you tired of feeling hungover in the morning? Whatever it may be, I want you to write it down and I want you to say it out loud and possibly share it with someone you trust. When you have support on this journey, it becomes a lot easier. The next thing is it's really important to track your progress and celebrate the wins from day to day. So when you keep track of your journey, it's one of the most effective ways to stay accountable. So I'd recommend using a journal or an app or even just printing out a calendar printout of January and literally marking off the days that you succeed. I recommend logging each alcohol-free day. Also, another really powerful thing is if you're trying to understand how alcohol affects your mind, your body, your soul, I would recommend journaling about it. So it's really good to understand how it's affecting you physically and emotionally. So I'd say, do you notice that you are less sluggish in the morning? Do you have more energy? Are you less short-tempered with your kids? Are you getting in less fights with your husband? Do you just feel better? Are you less bloated? Are your weight loss and muscle growth progress photos showing more progress than normal? So we need to acknowledge how it's affecting us and celebrate those successes. And these little victories add up and give you something to look back on to see how far you've come, but also give you reasons to maybe continue with this. One of the best things to do on this journey is having a support system. So when you have the right people in your corner, it can make all the difference. So I recommend sharing your goals with friends and families who can cheer you on. And better yet, join a group who's also doing dry January. Being surrounded by like-minded people makes the journey feel less isolating and more empowering. And what you're going to find is a lot of the times that you drink are in social situations. So if your friends know that this is your intention, maybe you guys can make new plans to not necessarily spend your time all at bars and restaurants and where you would typically drink, but come up with different activities that are going to help support you on this journey. And preparing for social situations is one of the most imperative things that you can do. Social gatherings are always tricky, especially if alcohol is involved. So planning ahead and bringing your own non-alcoholic beverages or offering to make fun mocktails for the group is a great way to navigate this. One thing that you can expect when you're doing dry January and you typically drink is people asking why you're not drinking. So for one, acknowledge the fact that you don't owe anybody any explanation. But you can also just keep it simple. I'm doing dry January for my health. A lot of people are going to question it. Why aren't you drinking? Unfortunately, alcohol is one of the few mind-altering substances that people will question why you're choosing not to do it. It's a very funny thing when you tell people you're not drinking because everyone always defaults to something must be wrong. And having grown up with alcoholic parents, I definitely have seen this where every time somebody says, I don't drink, people always wonder, did you have a problem with drinking? So sometimes you're going to need to explain yourself or want to at least because you don't want people to maybe have that idea about you. That's okay too. But maybe you do. Maybe you are struggling with alcohol. Maybe it has become a problem in your life. And sometimes just being honest with people is going to help set that table for how they respond. Because if you're around a bunch of people that you typically drink with and you say, I'm just going to try not drinking for a while, they might be very judgmental towards that. They might say, well, you're no fun. Why don't you want to drink with us anymore? You cannot let their negative perspective of what you're doing hinder your goals and your progress here. You have to stay hyper-focused. You have to remember that sometimes not spending time with those people who tend to overdrink or push you to drink and cause that peer pressure in your life might be the best thing for you during the month of January. In reality, most people will likely respect your choice, and if they don't, that's on them, not you. But just be prepared for the questions. Another thing is finding healthy alternatives to drinking. So what I found when I stopped drinking back in April was that I would walk into a bar or restaurant and my default was always just to order a drink. And over time, I've realized that once you get past that initial itch and feeling that ordering a drink is just the default, it really becomes something that's no big deal. So whether it's ordering a diet soda or water with lemon or something else to just give you that hand-to-mouth motion that feels very social, you don't really need the drinking. This is also probably going to help you from a hydration perspective, but instead of reaching for a glass of wine or beer, explore healthier alternatives, whether that's sparkling water, herbal teas. Some people like kombucha. I personally don't. You can make fun mocktails that can give you that satisfying craving of having a drink, mixing something up without derailing your goals. So get creative. Try infusing water with different fruits or herbs and make it fun. One thing that my husband and I did when we reined back on our drinking was we bought a soda stream. And we found that having sparkling water on hand and just being able to add different things like a squeeze of lemon or some of that powdered lemon and lime or grapefruit into the water, or even using those Mio hydration drops or adding in some sort of hydration electrolyte mix is a great way to still get the feeling of having a drink other than water, but not necessarily drinking alcohol. Now, as we are embracing these new habits and the benefits of it, let's look at some of those things. So focusing on hydration is one of the most notable benefits of dry January. What you're probably going to find is that by not drinking alcohol, you're going to improve your hydration because you're going to be drinking other things. So take advantage of this by making sure that you're drinking more water throughout the day, you're staying hydrated, you're adding in electrolytes. A lot of people will notice that their bloating goes down, their skin starts to glow, it starts curbing their sugar cravings. So it's a win-win all around. Setting new routines is also really important. So use the time that you would have normally spent drinking to explore new activities. So in the evening, maybe you used to just sit around and have a drink after dinner. Maybe you go on a walk with your family. Maybe you used to sit around and just watch TV and drink beer in the evening, or on Sundays watching football and having glasses of wine. Maybe read a book instead and have a cup of coffee with your husband. So finding ways to fill your time will help keep you focused and might even spark new long-term habits. You're feeling like you're struggling with saying no to the alcohol, focus on the benefits. Keep the positives front and center. You're probably going to be sleeping better, your skin might get clearer, you're probably going to have better energy, you might see some increased weight loss. I can almost guarantee you're going to be less bloated. And these benefits serve as daily reminders of why you're doing this. So when temptation strikes, reflect on how far you've come and how good you feel. So let's talk about some ideas to set yourself up for success. Get the alcohol out of sight and out of mind. If it's possible, remove the alcohol from your home. If you get it out of sight and out of mind, it's going to make it easier to stick to your goals. Avoiding bars and places where alcohol is the main focus can also reduce the temptation. So instead, explore new social settings like coffee shops, outdoor activities, mocktail parties with friends. Just remember, a lot of our social environments are centered around drinking. So if we can shift the narrative to, hey, instead of going out for drinks, let's go out for dessert and coffee. Or, hey, let's go out for a walk instead of going to the wine bar in the afternoon. So just refocus your activities. And where you can get the alcohol out of sight and out of mind, you're gonna see greater benefits. When my husband and I decided we were gonna stop drinking, we literally purged the whole fridge. And I'm gonna tell you, we have a fridge in our garage. It was filled to the brim. We had beers, ciders, seltzer, all of these different things that people had brought over to our house that we had stocked up on for parties. And we decided we just don't need this anymore. And now when people come over to our house, we let them know, bring your own beer. If you want to drink, bring it over. We don't have much. And we do have an alcohol cabinet still. We still have vodkas and whiskeys and all sorts of stuff to make cocktails, but we just don't use it. Also, you have to be kind to yourself. If this is a new habit, if you've never done this before, if you're the kind of person who defaults to a glass of wine every evening or a beer every evening with dinner, just know that slip-ups might happen. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And if you have a setback, don't beat yourself up. Reflect on what triggered the slip, learn from it, and get back on track. Remember, dry January is about building healthier habits one day at a time, But also, dry January doesn't have to end at the end of January. If you find that this serves you and you feel better and your life is better as a result of not drinking, continue it. You also don't have to start January 1st. Say you're not listening to this podcast until March and you decide, well, maybe I should do this. Start now. It doesn't have to be a set date. It doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution. It doesn't have to be January. It doesn't have to be for a month. Sometimes it's just challenging your mindset and saying, am I capable of not drinking for a week if your default is to drink every day? So I encourage everybody at some point to challenge yourself with that. A lot of people think that it's an easy thing to just not drink for a week, but until you try and do it, it might be harder. Try for a month, try for a year, see how your life changes. I know that for my husband and I, it's been drastic. My husband specifically has lost a lot of weight because he had been drinking beer every day. And it was just the default. He didn't have a problem with drinking. He just enjoyed drinking beer. If he went in the garage to work on something, he'd grab a beer. If he was watching TV in the evening, he'd grab a beer. He sat down for dinner at night, he'd grab a beer. Now, I don't know how many of you have been following my podcast for a while, but I had an episode come out a while ago called Poor Decisions, and it dug deep into why we decided to rein back our drinking. Now, for me, it was the fact that I didn't like setting that example for my kids. I didn't like them seeing me drinking often. I didn't like the mommy wine culture that was going around, and I didn't want that to be the expectation that I set in my household. So I decided I'm never going to drink around my kids again. And that was a very bold decision to make. So this Christmas is the first Christmas I navigated not having any drinks. Same with Thanksgiving, same with all of the holidays. You know, New Year's was this week, and right now it's December 30th. I'm recording this podcast before New Year's. I'm not going to drink at New Year's, and this is going to be the first New Year's that I haven't. And I'm excited about that because I know that come January 1st, I'm going to wake up refreshed, feeling good, not hungover, and in a happy space to wake up and spend a wonderful start to the new year with my kids. So just remember, everybody's why is different, and you need to dig deep into what your why is. That way it can motivate you because it's not an easy thing to do. But dry January is a powerful opportunity to reset and rediscover new strengths in yourself. So whether you're doing this for your health, for personal growth, or just curiosity, every day you stay committed is a step towards a better you. And remember, it's not just about saying no to alcohol. It's about saying yes to yourself and your goals. So I encourage all of you to give this a shot. Whether it's a week, a month, whether it's in January, March, November, it doesn't matter. Just try. And you've got this. Take it one day at a time, celebrate your wins, track your progress, get aligned with some other people who will do this with you, and don't forget to give yourself grace. And I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. I would love to hear about how your experience with dry January went, or whenever you're listening to this when you try to stave off alcohol for a while. Please let me know on Instagram. Go ahead and shoot me a message or comment below on my YouTube post. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for Non-Negotiable Living. And if you're taking a break from alcohol, I'd love to hear about the journey. Share your progress with me. And let's inspire each other to make it the best month, the best year yet. So until next time, stay strong, stay focused, stay committed to your non-negotiable habits. You guys got this.